Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me welcome you at today's online conference devoted to green energy and energy transition. My name is Lukas Kovanda and I am moderator of this panel. We will have several speakers today, and I would like firstly thank to embassies of Nordic countries for supporting our discussions, sustainability, and related things that are very timely today. Also, with regard of war in Ukraine and the necessity of even more faster transition to new sources of energy. And because of that, the sustainability issue is, I think, even more timely there than before. So today, as I already said, we will have several speakers, and we cover the topic of green energy and energy transition. This panel is organized on behalf of Nordic Chamber of Commerce and Confederation of Industry and Trade of the Czech Republic. So once again, let me welcome you, and let me welcome also our speakers, our guests of this panel. First, Wojciech Fried from Pražská Energetika, a leading Czech energetic company, will speak about sustainable mobility. So good morning, Mr. Fried.
Morning. Hi to everyone.
Then we will cover the topic of decarbonization and the very timely topic of cutoff of gas, which is related, of course, to current development in Ukraine and sanctions against Russia. And the speech will be by Mr. Stehlík, Vladimír Stehlík, who is responsible for a partner network and key project in premium energy. So I think it's related also to the previous speaker. So let me welcome you, Mr. Stehlík. Thank you for coming.
Good morning. Thank you for the welcome invitation.
Thank you that you are here. Then we will deal more into Green Deal and its effects on industry. And this topic will cover Martin Dittrich. So welcome you here as well, Mr. Dittrich. Thank you for coming.
Well, good morning.
Mr. Dittrich is from Belfiger Terburin, Czech Republic. So thank you. And then we cover Green Deal and its impact not just on industry, but on construction. On construction, which is, of course, a part of industrial production in a broader sense of the word. But I think it may be useful to look directly into the impact of Green Deal on construction industry. And this topic will have Mr. Miroslav Kobera, who is Green Business Manager in Skanska Reality. So good morning, Mr. Kobera, as well. So maybe he's not with us already, so we will get to him later. How to go green in compressed air. That's another topic, and Mr. Philip Strobach will cover this one. So good morning, Mr. Strobach.
Good morning, everybody.
And last but not least, photovoltaic plants and electricity storage system by Jakub Vančura from SIGE. So good morning, Mr. Vančura. So we are here, and we may start now with our discussion. I'm looking very much forward to your insights, the gentlemen. And as I already said, the issue of transition of sustainability, I think, is even more important than ever because of the geopolitical development of last few months, which has a very strong impact on energy sector, not just in European Union, but globally. But we will focus, of course, especially on the development in European Union with regard to Czech Republic. So I would like to ask Mr. Fried from Pražská Energetika to take a floor and introduce his topic. Thank you, Mr. Fried, for your insights.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for the introduction. Starting this discussion, I was a bit afraid really to talk e-mobility on the platform of Nordic Chamber of Commerce. It's like, according to the motto, do not learn an eagle how to fly. But it's a challenge, and it's an honor really to somehow present how the e-mobility is developing here in an emerging market when you compare it to the Nordic countries. So Prague Energy is a member of NBV Group. We are active in the field of e-mobility since 2010. And the current development in yesterday's decision of EU Parliament banning the production of combustion engines by 2035 is somehow saying that like we were right in the direction how to approach the e-mobility, but frankly speaking, we are the infrastructure partner mainly, and the field of e-mobility is way too dynamic when you compare it with the infrastructure development projects and the companies linked to this field of business. So starting with key image, which you see here, it's well known, everyone is aware of the fact that Norway is the leader of the market in the field of e-mobility, and also like development or preparement of the infrastructure. For someone, it's dream for an infrastructure company which has the responsibility for stability of the system. It's more of a horror, because these numbers are too high and our development plans are designed in 10 years periods. So as I'm responsible here in PRE for development of e-mobility, I am really assessing it as a dream, and I'm happy that there are some markets where we can see these shares of EVs or plug-in hybrids. In fact, more conservative fields of responsibilities in the energy sectors are not seeing it as so. Luckily, in general, EU market is not developing so fast, but it's even faster than the Czech Republic. What it's key information that the market is really ramping, and we have to see the dynamics and adjust the plans. So as e-mobility is the innovative department of Prague Energy, we're somehow pushing the city and the infrastructure towards the fact that we as responsible market player should prepare for it. So even though the market is not so developed, we are covering the market with a share of 35% of customers using electric vehicles, which looks maybe for someone as a low number, but frankly, we have to say that this number represents the number of users of public charging infrastructure. And it's like well known that public charging infrastructure is like being used every second time of 10 usage of a charging infrastructure. So from that, we can see that the market is quite covered. And what are the key challenges, or the axiom of our discussion is that PRE, as a municipal company, but also a member of German energy group, the Energie Baden-Württemberg, we are working with Green Deal and municipal strategies as a given plan strategy, and there is no internal discussion whether it's it's too fast or it's too optimistic. We are somehow coping with the fact that these are our borders and binding documents according to which we have to react and prepare our plan. From that, we are somehow in dichotomic position that, like, we are a municipal company, semi-owned by the city of Prague, but also representing a huge German cross-European concern responsible of the Czech Republic, which should be integrated into an EU standard while talking about e-mobility. And from that, we have to prepare like a three-level approach towards development or solving the issues related to e-mobility. Number one, where is our key task, is really the DNA, or what's in our DNA. It's like we are the energy of the city of Prague, which means that we are serving most of Prague inhabitants, serving the grid, which is here in Prague, and therefore we have to prepare the city of Prague for e-mobility and prepare the general environment and ecosystem of e-mobility here in Prague. That's why we are realizing the largest projects of public charging infrastructure here in Prague. And we are also solving issues related to internal charging and so. But unluckily, our customers living in Prague, they are sometimes traveling apart from Prague. They're traveling to some other cities than Prague. Therefore, our project starting from Prague has to be adjusted. And we are covering nowadays all regions across the Czech Republic. And third line of our strategic approach towards development and preparement the Czech Republic for e-mobility is the pan-European approach, where we are applying the German standards for charging and solutions of e-mobility, but like not doing an advertisement of this initiative. It's it's visible from the general numbers that Czech e-mobility market is pretty slow when you compare it to Germany. But we know that Czech Republic and Czech system of charging and serving the e-mobility users has to reflect and set the European standards. That's why we took the commitment to be a member of a international projects and applying or implementing a projects which are, for example, using higher voltage of charging stations than it's a standard here in the Czech Republic. It's costly, but we strongly believe that it will return back in the fact that the e-mobility is feasible project, and Czech Republic will meet the general standard, which you can see in France, or maybe in Norway, as the role model for e-mobility implementation. From that, I wanted to show you how the project of public charging infrastructure went in time. Repeating one information from the start, PRE is the second largest public charging operator here in the Czech Republic, which means that we are operating around 400 public chargers. So when you compare it to Western European countries, it's quite impossible to be in top 3 having this size of a network. But that's the current status of the network. To say that there is a plan behind it, and we are planning to grow the development plan. You can see on the chart down there on the slide that we are doubling the size of public charging infrastructure per year. So from that, we can see that starting in Prague, where most of the electric vehicles are being operated, but by the time the network is growing, and from now on, it's starting to be easy to drive through the Czech Republic. And what we can say openly, that the future is electric, therefore the map should be even then more dense than it's now visible. Then what we are seeing as a new trend on the e-mobility market in the Czech Republic, it's the fact of roaming. So electric vehicles having ranges around 300 kilometers are starting to visit the Czech Republic. So it's more and more important to accept foreign EV users. From the image on the screen, you can see the dynamics, or like what are the most visiting users of our public charging infrastructure from abroad. And you can see that even like from Belgium or Netherlands, we are having quite a significant number of customers. Therefore, the strategic decision to really work in a European system is worth it, because in the past, and not so far away in the past, like around 2 years ago, it was not a standard to accept like foreign drivers on a public charging infrastructure. Nowadays, it's a must, and we are seeing it from the numbers. Even in the year 2020, when there was a lockdown, we were having quite a significant number. 1/3 of our visitors on public charging infrastructure were from abroad, mainly Germany those days. The direction the other way around should be also mentioned, that it has to be covered. Easy to say, hard to execute. Electric vehicles has to be allowed by having one contract to charge anywhere you're driving, and it's more and more a standard to visit foreign countries with your electric vehicle. I call it like another must, but there are many regulatory obstacles concerning tax issues and contractual relations with the foreign cooperating networks. But from this image, we can see that like the customer or user of electric vehicle is really using it and need it. Some general numbers of like describing the dynamics of the market, I wanted to share with you, just to see that we are maybe talking e-mobility since 2010, that it's an issue over tomorrow and everyone has to get ready for it. I fully understand, for example, our board, that it was not appropriate in 2015 to say this alarmistic information. But when you see the dynamics that the market is growing by 2 at least every year, the companies, especially such as energy infrastructure company, has to adjust their approach, because the development plan is really designed in a 10 years period. And when we are seeing some market segment which is growing by 2 every year, the plan has to be adjusted way before then on the decade period. Then other interesting info concerning the customer's demand. What should we say? The customer is having we can see it here, like is using the charger the lowest time the possible. The cars are having larger batteries, therefore we have to work with higher and higher voltage solutions for charging. So then what are the key challenges which we're going through in line with the strategic segments, what we are orienting or focusing on? Here in Prague, we are coping with the issue of having huge numbers of cars, electric vehicles in one place with the very same demand to be charged on time and drive wherever I like. And that's why we really have to redesign the approach towards grid and redesign the approach towards in-house buildings of charging infrastructure. And that's like really our key strategic initiative to serve customers which are having high numbers of cars in one building. Plus, we have to accordingly shape the structure of public charging infrastructure in the city. So, for example, when you compare our initiatives, which are focused on slow charging in the city, no one else on the market is doing so. It's a fact, we know it, but we are preparing the city of Prague to be prepared for the e-mobility. And we know that it's not a normal standard to have dedicated parking lot for your car once you're living in a city. That's why we're building such a huge AC or slow charging project in the region of city of Prague. What's the other challenge? As I was already mentioning, the customers are used to spend less time on the charging infrastructure, and they're having larger batteries in their cars, and therefore we have to prepare a project which are really reflecting this demand. Nice to see on a leaflet to have a charging hub this size of it, but in fact the demand and how costly this project is, it has to be really a strategic discussion where to put and develop such a size of this infrastructure project. That's why, for example, we signed a memorandum on cooperation with the city of Prague, Skoda Auto, and us to really say, you Prague, tell us where is the urban area to be developed. We as infrastructure partner were to prepare the grid, and you Skoda as an representative of automotive, tell us what are the future standards of your cars and what are the demands of your end customer. What has to be said when we are talking infrastructure? First sentence starts in 2019 and the result is visible in 2022. So that's why we're challenging. And the last but not least, special new topic for us as an infrastructure partner, especially regarding the issue of Ukraine conflict. All the segments of e-mobility were accelerated, and there was one segment which was just in the field of visions and dreams, and it was like heavy duty vehicles. But since like 3 months ago, it's starting to be reality. What's the trouble in this case, or what's the challenge maybe? It's that the public charging infrastructure was long time ago designed for a standard family cars, and now we are having customer which is having a size of a battery which is like 3 personal cars and need double the size of a parking lot. So that's the challenge which we are now trying to somehow solve and adjust our charging project for that, because this is really a nice image where you can see a public charging infrastructure in the city. This is Pilsen, and it was really designed for personal vehicles. And we are now having every second day this unique Volvo truck they're testing. And once it's standing there, the other charging places cannot be used. And the same has to be then like somehow reviewed, prepared newly, and the highways stops should be redesigned as well. So that's the new challenge on the market. And as the opener of this discussion, I think it's the general info what I wanted to share with you, and I'm happy to discuss the details and what are your experiences maybe from more developed markets than it is. So many thanks for your attention then.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Fried, for your insights. Maybe some questions I would like to ask you, because many skeptics, for example, say that in the future, when there is really a lot of electromobiles, it will be very difficult for, let's say, ordinary people to charge their car because of a huge amount of people who would like to charge their car in a same moment like others. So, for example, in large residential areas in Prague, for example, or in other big cities, so whenever in the world, it will be very difficult, even impossible, to get charged or these cars at the same moment. So, do you have some visions for the future? How to fix this issue, or is it issue?
Well, I would say many thanks for that question. I would say it's more of a PR issue, because all these scenarios are usually linked to situations like, what if everyone will change the car in one momentum and switch to electric vehicle? Then I'm saying, okay, if this is going to happen, then it's a trouble. But the fleet of any country is being changed by the time, and it's more or less predictable when the car is about to be changed. The first fleets which are going to be switched to electric are the state-owned companies and huge companies, and these kind of entities, they're changing their cars in the period of 5 years. So we have some time to get the infrastructure ready. But then when we are talking about the infrastructure itself, there are scenarios how to serve these customers. What's helping? It's the driving range of those cars is rising. Therefore, they're not being charged every day. You do not have to charge your car every day. Plus, you can plan when you are charging. And if it's done smartly, in cooperation with a smart charger, which can schedule when you really need to charge, and it communicates with the grid, then it can be done. But you're right. For example, City of Prague is preparing a project where on 3,000 public street lights, there are going to be installed a charger for 2 cars. And it's like some of an answer that street lights are in every blocks of flats, and they can serve a lot. And this project can implement quite quickly the infrastructure which would be sufficient for the demand.
So you expect some gradual development, so it won't be in one moment. So the economy will have time and space to prepare gradually for the electromobility as a really mass phenomenon.
I guess so.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Fried, for your insights into sustainable mobility. It's been Mr. Fried, who is from Pražská Energetika or Prague Energy. And now I have a pleasure to welcome here another official from this company or colleague, maybe Mr. Vladimír Stehlík, who is a premium, who is responsible for premium project. So, Mr. Stehlík, maybe tell us more about the premium project, and then you can go deeper into your topic, and that is decarbonization and cut off gas. So I think again it's very timely topic. So the floor is yours now. Thank you.
Good morning again. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I have prepared a presentation for you, which I would like to share with you in a moment.
Yeah, we already see it.
I would like to contribute to the discussion about possibilities how to cut off gas and increase the efficiency of companies. But first of all, I would like to introduce a premium energy service platform, which is quite new in Pražská Energetika. We are oriented on innovations for industry, buildings in general, shopping mall, and also cities and towns. I would like to also add more information to Mr. Fried's introduction of PRE with through my presentation. So PRE is a traditional operator with the history more than 20 years on the market, 120 years on the market. We are one of the three electricity distribution network in the Czech Republic. We cover the capital city of Prague and Roztoky nearby Prague. We are a strong partner in B2B cooperation, and we have over 80% customers in B2C market. But we are not only in Prague, we are operating the whole country. So we also are quite strong in renewables. We operate our own wind power plants and solar power plants. And this is also what we deliver to our customers, but we also have an aim to increase the capacity and the production in our own power plants in the period of next decade in hundreds of megawatts here in the country. We have also a double brand, which is called Yellow. It's a sales organization mainly oriented for B2C segment outside Prague. It's a very digitalized company, and it's a let's say new wave of selling electricity outside Prague through IT services, IT online services. Premium Energy Services is an integrated team. We are closely cooperating with our colleagues from other departments in PRE, but we also cooperate with other companies in our partner network. PRE is a joint venture of City of Prague and German EnBW. This partnership is working smoothly from 2010 when the company was acquired. from EnBW. PRE is getting most of the innovations and information about new trends and applications from the mother group. And we are also using some skills and tools from our mother company, also in Premium. Our key persons are Pavel Ellis and Alexander Sloboda. And here you can see the company structure, which is quite wide. Our group is not operating only in Czech Republic, but we serve more than 5.5 million customers with electricity, gas, and water, and also other products. Our headquarters is in Karlsruhe in Germany. We employ in the group more than 25,000 employees. Altogether, we have a installed capacity of renewable sources close to 4.9 gigawatts. And this number is increasing rapidly and will increase in next decade rapidly. We are also a publicly traded company, and we have two main shareholders which are connected to the Baden-Württemberg state or region in the German country. We are operating in Germany, Czech Republic, Turkey, also Nordic countries, Sweden, and also in Switzerland, and also in France. Here you can see selected economical figures. We employ over 1,600 employees, and we are the third biggest employee, partly public employee in Prague. Now I would like to introduce what we do in Premium. So here you can see the whole portfolio, what we can, how we can contribute to our customers with their needs in energy infrastructure of buildings, factories, shopping malls, or cities and towns, as I introduced before. So we have a solution in intelligent management system, which is an umbrella, online umbrella, how to control all energy consumption, flow, purchase, inputs and outputs. So it's a platform where you can centralize all the information from the energy infrastructure from the company. We also orient on transformer station. This is a historical connection because in our group is also pre-distribution network in Prague, which is responsible for the grid in Prague, and transformers are key point in this network, or key points. We are also orienting on heating on buildings, cooling, air conditioning, and recuperation. We have also strong focus on industrial cooling. As a traditional partner, we are also very strong in financing. We have a pillar and colleagues responsible for selling commodities, electricity, gas, and also certificate of origin for the electricity without any CO2 emissions. So it's coming from renewable sources. We are also strong in electromobility for public, which was presented by my colleague Wojciech Fried, but we are also stronger and stronger in private infrastructure electromobility. We also orient on power plants, photovoltaic power plants, but we also own, as I said before, wind power plants. Additionally, we also orient on safety, building facades, this is an also additional option mainly for energy performance contracting projects, which are mainly for public. This is a need of the public sector, mainly of the public sector. With the intelligent management system, we use energy usage management. It's a part of the system of the umbrella where you can control energy consumption, production, outputs and inputs, as I said before, according ISO 50001 online. You can get also data analysis, and it is as a tool to implement additional measures. We also orient on lighting and fiber optics. This connection, lighting and fiber optics, is mainly for public lighting, but it is new trend, and it is also connected not only with the high internet for buildings, but for also the energy infrastructure. We also orient on complex systems of compressed air, and additionally for the water accumulation, treatment, and cleaning. And then we have also additional services mainly connected with the electric infrastructure in each company. In general, when you go through opportunities through innovation, the company's energy infrastructure, you can increase or make OPEX savings. You can go to ESG compliance via the decarbonization. You can cut the gas. Now we are working on many projects where we are cutting the gas to zero and use innovative heating pumps instead the boiler rooms. So we see this as a new trend, which is highly increasing after the war in Ukraine and the current price of gas and electricity, and also the risk of shortage in the near future. You can use, or customers can in general use subsidies from National Recovery Plan, which was established according to the COVID-19 situation. Then there is a modernization plan. This subsidies from modernization plans will come during next 10 years. So it's a quite long period of time when you can use money from this fund. And there are also other possibilities for subsidies from Czech Invest, from Optak, and also from Ministry of Environment. When you would like to reduce or cut CO2 or CO2 equivalent, because in some energies or energies connected with CO2, we use equivalent. You can go through best practice according to the GHG protocol, which is a tool coming after the Paris conference, and you can comply easily with ESG requirements. You can, through this tool, analyze current company carbon footprint and apply the policy how to reach your goals in CO2 footprint. You can prepare the reduction scheme, and if you are not able to reduce to zero with the technologies, because there, in some cases, there can be some possibilities to reduce to zero because of the technological questions, then there is a possibility to offset the rest of the CO2, and you can also use this GAG protocol as a tool how to implement these offsets. We are also using, or we have prepared some three years ago, our own tool, which is called Energy Outlook. And through this Energy Outlook, you can go very systematically to the analyze of current energy infrastructure, decide where are the key points according the return of investment, where are the priorities according to return of investment, CO2 saving, investment value, and future benefits. So this is the process and the system how you can very easily make the proper targets in your energy infrastructure in short and also long period of time. After we've prepared this study, analyze and study Energy Outlook, we usually continue with feasibility study, where we go more deeper into the technical aspects and prepare the regular technical solution proposal, how to go and how to get targets which are accepted from the Energy Outlook. Reduction CO2 footprint through innovation of energy infrastructure. I mean, in gas replacement can increase your competitiveness, reduce or really exclude CO2 emissions to zero, and increase your energy efficiency. You can use these new technologies for long period of time. So the technologies are already on the market. There are no any technical questions or any pilot project. The technologies are here, and it's just necessary to choose the right one and implement them. You can manage energy consumption online via the umbrella software. We call it Premium Digital. Via this software, you can easily meet ISO 51 standards online. You can also, and we also see this trend in last period of time of production of your own production energy via photovoltaic power plants. This is the most common way now of own energy production. And also you can additionally increase your EBITDA through energy efficiency. When we go through usual decarbonization steps, you can reduce the energy via heating and ventilation systems. You can use online energy management system. Additionally, you can use recuperation of the energy back to the building, which was not used before. You can increase the efficiency of usage of the energy via technical solutions we can find together. There are possibilities to invest and construct a photovoltaic power plant and also replace gas boiler rooms to heat electric pumps. This is the main topic now, connected with the gas, to replace gas heat boilers to heat pumps, which are running on electricity, and also can be connected to the air, to the air's drilled systems, and also with there are three possibilities how to use them. We can go in detail through questions and in each project. When there is an interest from the customer to make an analysis, we go through in the first step, as I said before, through Energy Outlook. The report is done usually up to 12 weeks. The price is in thousands of euros. It's not any high investment. We need a lot of information from the customer side, and as in parts and as out parts, we come with a description of the solution, budget, timeline, payback, and also in some cases we try to find two different solutions, and the whole proposal is made via this Outlook. Then we also look on financing, whether we go through our financing or financing with the bank, and also subsidies. So we are trying to find with the customer the best way how to finance the project. And then we continue with feasibility study or design work, and then comes the realization. Here is more details about the Energy Outlook. So in detail, you can see all the information we need to prepare the analysis. Mainly, we need energy audit, project documentation of actual state, list of planned investment and preferences from the side of the customer. Also, as much information as possible about electricity and gas consumption, including load profiles, especially after in the view of, let's say, 5 years production. And also we discuss with the customer what are his requirements regarding compliance with ESG. And then we prepare through the Energy Outlook strategic goals in energy infrastructure, usually up to 2030, when there is a description of solution in individual areas, including alternatives. If there are any alternatives, it's not possible in each case. We are calculating CO2. As I said in previous slides, we estimate the investment cost, operating costs, and also the summary of quick wins solutions through GAG protocol. And we use Premium Digital tool as not for the analyze, but also for running the whole project up to 2030 and also after that. Here is in the detail the timeline, how we go through each phase of the analyze. In general, we collect data, then it's necessary to make a physical visit from our technicians. Then we find the right solution, and we prepare the report for the customer. We discuss everything during the analyze, and we present the final report. Then,
so Mr. Stehlik, thank you. We have about last 1 or 2 minutes because we are running out of the time. So please take regard on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is my last slide. After the energy outlook, we go to feasibility study on or drawing work, and here you can see details how we go through the process, and this is it. So thank you. One more again. Thank you for the invitation, and I'm here ready for any questions.
Great. Thank you very much. Sorry for interrupting you, but I was afraid we have been running out of time, so we need to be. We need to stick to our plan because we have a number of speakers here today. I would like to ask you, how long does it take to build photovoltaic power plant or replace gas boilers with heat pumps? How long does it take, Mr. Stehlík?
Yes, with the power plant, it is a little bit complicated because you need a construction permission. And before you get the construction permission, you need to make all the drawings and also contract with the distribution network that the photovoltaic power plant will be connected when it will be constructed. So this process needs at least 6 months. So if any company would like to construct the photovoltaic power plant running, operating, and connected to the grid, it is not possible to do it in this year, especially because the winter time will come and then you cannot do the installation. So all the projects which we are working on now in the phase of energy outlook or feasibility study or drawing work, will be constructed during next year. In the boiler room, replacement to heat pumps, it can be much more faster, but there is a shortage of some technologies. So it depends on the high of the performance which is necessary for the project. We are really working on many projects in millions of euros now, each case, and we see that there is a high demand on the EU market, and there can be some shortages, but it is necessary to be discussed addressly with the company, the customer.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have now to move on to another speaker, and I would like to welcome here Mr. Martin Dittrich, who is Business Development Director with a originally Dutch company, Bilfinger de Budin. So good morning, Mr. Dittrich, and we will cover, as I already mentioned, the topic of Green Deal and its effect of industrial production. Bilfinger is a engineering and consultancy company with international presence. So I think we will have very expert insights into this very important topic. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Lukáš, for the introduction. I hope you see my screen and the presentation.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah.
Thank you for the confirmation. My name is Martin Dittrich. I'm representing Bilfinger company in Czech Republic. It's company Bilfinger de Budin. We are engineers and consultants. Actually, my background is chemical engineer. I'm with Bilfinger de Budin almost 10 years. Started as a process engineer and head of technology department, and then moved to business development, where I'm now responsible for Czech Republic and Slovakia, and in Central and Eastern European organization, I'm responsible for energy transition projects. Just for you, short introduction, who we are, who is the Bilfinger Group. Bilfinger is German group that's providing services to industrial clients, especially to processing industries. and we are part as Bilfinger Teborin. We are part of Bilfinger from 2012. Now you can see that we can as a Bilfinger Group cover quite wide portfolio of services in different phases of the project. So from very early phase, when the investors is considering different type of projects, including the energy and energy efficiency projects, for example. And then we can help also the client through the whole project life cycle, including installation, modification, optimization work, extension, and also in the end of life of production, also the commissioning services. Bilfinger is represented by more than 30,000 employees worldwide in 3 big regions, with turnover more than 3.5 billion euros. And Bilfinger Teborin is actually representing this engineering and consultancy part. We are having offices in Northwest Europe and in Central and Eastern Europe. On this slide, you can see where we are present. What is actually important in actually 2 months ago, we had almost 900 people, but we had to close all the operations in Russia. Especially we terminated all the contracts in chemical, petrochemical, and also energy business, oil and gas business. But we kept the Ukraine, where we are having quite extensive team of 100, almost 150 people in 2 offices. And it's almost unbelievable that these teams are still working on our projects, including energy projects as well. Now actually we are having all the disciplines in house, so we are able to really do the project for our clients in different disciplines and different fields. And what we are also proud of, that we are managing many construction sites. You can see in all on the previous side with 0 LTI, so means lost time injury. So from the introduction, let's go to the topic, because I will actually continue follow on the presentation of Vladimir Stehlík, because some of the topics will be overlapping. But yeah, let's start. What's Green Deal and how we are actually looking at Green Deal. It's actually it's a plan of Europe how to make our economy the sustainable, long-term sustainable, also with the focus on environmental impacts and to face all the challenges and turn them into the opportunities. There are actually several targets and several strategies how to do or how to deal with these issues. And there are actually 3 main pillars that Europe wants to be without net emissions of greenhouse gases by 2050. I will touch on it later on. That economic growth is decoupled from resource use, and the 3rd pillar is actually that no person and no place is left behind. When we look at the Green Deal in perspective of industry and processing industries, you can see that there are actually many activities that are connected with the Green Deal, and industry and industrial projects are definitely playing quite significant role in the whole scheme. So as you can see, one of the actions that is connected with Green Deal is actually mobilizing industry for clean and circular economy. Another issue is also to build the new production sites and renovate them, or also energy centers or energy sources in an efficient way. And also, hot topic is not only the supply clean, affordable energy, but also the energy security. And I will touch with this topic also later on as well. What is actually Czech position towards Green Deal, and how we see and what are the plans of Czech government and Czech Republic to achieve these goals? Actually, our main targets when we look at the greenhouse gases emissions, so targets are compared to 1990. And the first milestone was in 2017, where Czech Republic should decrease the greenhouse gases by 35%. We succeeded in this. And now we are having had another milestone that is 40% by 2030. According to different studies, it's definitely achievable target. But still, you can see that the target for EU, for the entire EU, all countries, is actually much more challenging than for Czech Republic. And there are several actions that Czech government has in their strategy that is actually to promote clean mobility and green infrastructure. Another big topic is actually renovation of the buildings, make them more energy efficient, means for residential, administrative, but also industrial buildings and industrial production sites. Increase energy efficiency in the production processes. It's definitely quite significant part of the puzzle. And promotion of energy sources that will actually lead to the climate neutrality by 2050, and also support the principle of circular economy and responsible public procurement. From these, actually, you can see, or we can see, many trends that are on the market. Some of them are really closely connected with the industry. Some of them not, or partly. What we see now on the market, that all operators of power and heating plants are now, doing and preparing the greening of these power and heating plants, especially coal or plants that are using for combustion as a fuel, coal or other fossil fuels. We see also, one of the way how to reduce the greenhouse gases emission is in nuclear energy. Yeah, you maybe know, that there were quite a lot of discussions about nuclear energy in European Commission, also in taxonomy and so on. And fortunately for Czech Republic, nuclear energy, is playing significant role, especially for some countries, including Czech Republic, and thanks to France, also that is focusing on nuclear industry and planning new power plants. Also, Poland is planning new power plants, and you know that that now we have opened the tender for Dukovany. So this is also quite important game changer, and yeah, if everything goes well, by 2035 to 38, we will have the energy from fifth block of Dukovany. Quite big topic is becoming waste to energy or waste to heat. It's definitely one of the way how to deal with the waste. So you see also another trend is waste recycling and circular economy. But some of the waste are not, it's not possible to recycle, and there is the option that we can use the energetic value of the waste. There are a couple of projects on Czech market planned, waste to energy, waste to heat. Unfortunately, not really all of them are proceeding as we would expect, but definitely for the future, this is the trend. Another trend is production of bio and synthetic fuels. There is quite big development in this field, and for example, we have just completed a project for Clariant company in Romania, where they built the first plant for second generation bioethanol. Second generation means that the bioethanol is produced from straw, and it's quite advanced biotechnology licensed by Clariant. There are also other licensors on the market who are able to deliver the technology for second generation of bioethanol. But this is really a nice example also how the development of new technologies and innovations can help also to achieve these goals. Hydrogen, definitely it will play a significant role in industry. We see that hydrogen can be as an alternative to the natural gas. And actually, mainly oil and gas companies are now pretty active in Czech Republic in different studies of blending hydrogen into the natural gas grid, or how to store hydrogen in underground storages together with natural gas. So there are several studies and feasibility studies for hydrogen projects running in Czech Republic, and it also connected to the mobility. So this is actually another way of utilization of hydrogen, especially for trucks or trains, where we do not have electrified roads. Let's move to another slide, because I showed you a couple of examples of projects, of investment projects that we see on the market. On the other hand, there are industrial policies that promoting greening of industry and having short and long terms, and there are several areas where definitely will be the investments, and where the companies and public sector will invest. Decarbonization itself, I've mentioned several examples, and I will touch it with this topic later on in detail. Structural changes. It's about also orienting of the existing production capabilities to integrate green solutions and in green value chain. For global integration, it's about foreign direct investment and development programs to promote the new technologies and technology transfers to to support the to R&D activities and other spillover effects. Quite big topic is also standardization and innovation. So now we are in the period where new standards are being created. So now it's for entire value chain production, to produce the goods greener way, and also promote that these goods are greener. And in the future, it's also scale up of low carbon R&D support. And it will be also about green skills, so training, certification for both manufacturing and public sector. Okay, so these are actually actions and topics that you can find in Green Deal. And then came the February 2022. War in Ukraine started, and actually EU responded to the situation and energy issues we started facing with the REPower EU. And actually, the main purpose of this range of actions is prioritize investments in the countries, and also for particular investors and industry players, and also reduce the dependency on the gas and fuel, and also other inputs, like fertilizers, like minerals, and so on. So it's also another game changer that we are facing, for past couple of months. Where we see actually the main technology and innovation trends, some of them were already mentioned by Vladimir in his previous presentation. But we see that all of our clients are dealing or will be dealing with different type of strategies, and also they will be required by supply chain to prove their greenhouse gases footprint. There are several methodologies how to calculate the greenhouse gases footprint. One of them is greenhouse gases certificate, where you actually assess the company in 3 stages. What you see on this slide or on the picture, actually it's stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 1 means it's everything what or all the greenhouse emission that the production company is producing during the production process, and it's directly connected to its activities. And the stage 2 is actually electricity that the investor is buying from the market, and then he needs also to calculate the greenhouse gases footprint of this energy. And there are several ways how to reduce this greenhouse gases footprint, or actually carbon footprint. And you see that we can look on the sources of heat, sources of electricity, install new renewable sources of energy using solar, wind energy, energy from green hydrogen, and so on. But there is also big part of the story in demand, where we can also optimize many processes in the production, especially connected to the heat demand in production process. and also to use, for example, waste heat or waste cooling system, or to optimize and to make the processes much more efficient. Bilfinger is actually now building the portfolio of our services, how we can help the clients to target these aims. And there are actually several fields where we can help industrial clients to meet these targets and to actually prepare the road towards carbon neutrality. It's most of these things I've mentioned, but I would maybe point out CO2 master planning, where we really can help the clients analyze all of these processes and help him to create the road towards carbon neutrality. We are also really focusing on new technologies and new solutions like carbon capture and utilization and storage technologies. I think this is also one of the biggest big trend in the future. It's hydrogen and both green, but we are still having other colors of hydrogen where we can also help the client and entire value chain of hydrogen. So it's not about only the production, but transportation and also the utilization of hydrogen.
Sorry for interrupting you, Mr. Dietrich. Thank you for insights. Again, we are running out of the time, so please finish your presentation in a few minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Lukáš. Actually, I am going to my last slide, where actually I would like to show you how we can help to make these energy projects happen. So as I mentioned, Bilfinger Tebodin is engineering and consultancy company. So typically we are EPCM contractor, means that we are helping our clients to go through all the phases of engineering through the project, also helping him to do the procurement, find the right contractors, suppliers, licensors, and during the execution of the projects, we are helping to manage the construction site, doing the cost control, health and safety coordination, and these type of projects, these type of services. Thank you very much for your time. Thanks for the invitation for this event, and I'm looking forward any questions, or come back. Do not hesitate. Come back to me with any request or any comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your insights, Mr. Dietrich. And one very quick question from me. I would like to ask you, because Czech Republic is one of the most industrialized countries in the European Union, but in the world maybe. So how do you think our country will handle the transition, the green transition? Do you think we'll be able to overcome all the obstacles without any significant drop in our economic performance?
I think that all the targets are achievable. Yeah, and actually nowadays we see that this topic also in regards with the prices of the energy and natural gas, and also with the risk that there will be the shortage of natural gas, and some of the industrial clients will be affected by this. It actually boost all of these projects, and I believe that, and we see also when we are discussing these topics with our clients, that most of the industrial clients are focusing on this and preparing their plans how to overcome this. So I believe that there will be not much influence on this, but yeah, and as you mentioned, we are pretty strong industrial focused country. So definitely some fields will be affected, but I do not expect that it will lead to some big damages.
Thank you very much. That's a good news. So thank you for your presentation. And now we will move on to another segment of economy, very important segment, because we already spoken about industry as such. And now Mr. Miroslav Kobera, who is a green business manager from Skanska Reality, will present his insights into Green Deal aspects in a part of industrial production in the broader sense of the word and its construction. Very important field of Czech economy, but in almost any economy in general. So, Mr. Kobera, now the floor is yours. Thank you for your time and your being with us.
Thank you too for being able to speak at this conference. Hopefully you see my screen and everything is fine.
Everything's fine and we see your screen.
Okay, so once again, hello. My name is Miroslav Kobera. I represent Skanska Residential Development here in Czech Republic. We're a joint unit with Poland and representing Residential Development Europe. Basically, my profession here is Green Business Manager, which means that I'm responsible for most of the sustainability in our development and also the reporting of CO2 footprint and all the green stuff that is applied in our residential buildings. That means water savings, energy efficiency, quality management, and so on. So basically, today's I will take it from the broader perspective, and then I will come to the details, mostly that are in line with the theme of today's conference. What is our culture of developing a residential building? That the culture of living is built out of 4 values, let's say. That is life between buildings, respect toward the place where we'll be building in, then the resources, and lastly the long-term value. But basically, this should be our way how to achieve sustainability. And basically, what we're going to talk about today is the respect towards resources, because resources can be the concrete ones, the materials, and also the energy which has to be produced somehow from nature, either from renewable or unrenewable resources. What we do in our all residential projects is that we have an external representation of a certification system that covers all of the sustainability values coming from materials, waste, health and well-being, management, ecology, water, transport, and pollution. And mainly what we're gonna touch today is the energy. Energy is very closely connected with also the today mostly spoken subject, that is CO2 footprint and how to approach the CO2 neutrality. I will talk about the CO2 footprint in the second part of the presentation, but the first part will describe how we approach the energy demand of either projects, either way of living of our clients who buy our flats and so on. So I will jump right into the solutions that we use to lower the energy demand that we develop the projects with. Basically, you have an energy certificate that has to be proposed for every building that you want to deliver. So meaning that in the end, when the occupancy permit is given, you have to deliver the energy certificate of the building. That means that the energy flows into the building in the non-renewable sources such as gas, electricity, and also the district heating. And in order to lower its emissions or its demand on energy, you either use the positive that creates something non-renewable, like sources, and also the insulation or stuff that covers the energy inside the building and doesn't let it out. When you have a wastewater, air, and all other stuff, the whole system exchange the energy from and outside the building. And how you can save the energy inside is that the source that is coming out of your whole system is renewed, such as style as recuperation. You can get some of the energy that comes out of your building with this system. The system gets the energy from the wastewater that is coming out of the building, and it preheats the water that is coming into the building. In our residential projects, we also use the gray water system that saves potable water because it changes the water twice in the building. So it means that the water that is used with the sinks and showers is clean, and also you can flush with that. And then also it renews the energy and puts it out of the building. But that is a different subject of presentation. If you can exchange the energy of water, you can exchange also the energy of the air inside of your flat. This is the engine that you see on the screen that is circled here, and here it is described in a picture. Basically, the outside air is taken into this engine when it exchanges the energy, and then it takes the preheated air in, and here the heated air gives the energy to the outside air and flows out. So you have sufficient circulation of your inner air in your building, and that is sufficient of filtration of solid particles. You have permanent flow of air. That means that you have lower CO2 levels. You don't have to open the windows that often. And also the efficiency of heat exchange is very high. So these are the solutions that basically renew energy and are very efficient in exchanging the energy in your building. But how you can produce energy inside of the building without any outside system, meaning that you burn gas or anything unrenewable, are basically solar panels that can preheat water for heating of the inner rooms and all the flats. So So what is basically the system? The logic of the system is that cold water is pumped up to the roof, where it circulates through all those solar panels, is preheated to, let's say, 40 to 50 degrees of Celsius, and then it is put down again where the gas burner is and is heated to temperature that is reachable, and that is what you need of as a consumer. So basically, from the energy certificate that we have created for this actual project in 2021, it has been put into the occupancy permit. It's called Čertý vršek, and the installation of the whole energy efficiency covers the 1/3 of the whole energy demand of the whole building. So that's a piece of cake that can help all of the project, through the whole project. Here I have a video of a different project, but it really nicely describes how the energy efficiency is covered by our managers. So basically, I will translate it. So energy from the solar panels preheats the warm water. So in project Modransky Cukrovar, we will install 1,150 meters squared of photothermal panels. So the energy certificate B, that means we will cover most of the energy inside of the building. And also, if we talk about the heating and cooling of the inner space, the insulation, and also the outside sun covers are basically saving the heating and also the cooling of the project. This is a different project. This is the biggest project we're going to have in this year's. It's gonna cover 800 units in spectrum of 8 years, I guess. And basically in all our historical projects, what we did is we tried different solutions in different projects. For example, Chertu Vršek was the one that we've tried solar panels with. Then we had the water solution as a gray water. We tried it at the project Botanica, and so on, and green roofs and Miličovský High and so on. What we are going to do in this project Modransky Cukrovar is that it's going to be used in the whole, and it's going to create a big green, the biggest blue-green infrastructure project in Prague yet. So this is the video. This is a picture of how it's going to look. It's already been given the construction permit, and the first 2 stages are being built right now. As you see, there's going to be a combination of green roof and the solar panels. And what we're trying to accomplish is that also photovoltaics are going to be installed here. Also in Emil Kolben district, in Kolbenova on Metro B, there's going to be installed the first photovoltaic energy plant that is going to cover the use of ventilation and also the lights in the common space. The biggest issue that is with the photovoltaics installation here in Czech Republic is mostly the legislation and also the contracts with the companies that deliver energy, electrical energy. The bad thing is, or the downside of the energy generation in such a buildings is that you can store it in a battery storages, which are more expensive to be built, and also you can sell it back to the grid, but that is not yet very often to be done. And also, if you as a developer create a project where you install photovoltaic panels, it means that you sell the flats, you give all the common places to a provider that that supports all the stuff in the around, but the photovoltaics has to be given to a provider that has an energy certificate. It means that they can sell energy, and basically all the system is being developed and described in further months, so we can get into providing also electricity with renewable sources to the end client. I have one slide with circular economy here also, because I think that Green Deal also covers the circularity of all the stuff. And also with energy, it comes to circularity, because if you need to create something from nothing, that means that you have to get the primary material that costs you energy. If you recycle, that means that you cover at least some of the percentages of the energy. Either you have to somehow redo it, but most of the time it is lower energy dependent than primer materials. So in our residential project, what we do, that we're already recycling 31% of the tap water in the building. As I mentioned, that is the gray water system, which I already described, that reuses the shower and sink water for flushing. Then you can also, in the further projects, you can use it for washing machines. That is also a big new feature that we're going to offer. Then we have Rebetong, that is recycled concrete. So 20% of the new projects starting from 2020 are using recycled concrete. That means that in sites that we demolish buildings, such as Emil Kolben district, which is a big brownfield, we use grinded the demolition waste, like bricks, concrete, and so on, and that is put as particles into new concrete that is mixed with cement and so on, and we save with that materials such as sand and small stone particles. And also all of the material that is not used during the construction process is being recycled. So we have a different container for at least 10 different materials, such as plastic, glass, insulation, plasterboard, wood, steel, and I could count up to 10. What we are also trying to develop in our development, that's why we're a development company, that we're trying to find new sources of energy and electricity in our projects. And that is that, as you see, CO2 footprint of electricity in Czech Republic is bad. So that's why we try to install gas, like those not gas boilers, but renewable sources. Also here, I don't want to mention these because also the time is running out, but I want to jump into the CO2 footprint as far as I can. So we have a primary energy demand, which we're trying to follow, and that to accomplish 2030 reduction of 50% in CO2 footprint, we've developed this table that forecasts CO2 emissions per year of all our projects. Because as I said, the energy dependency is closely connected to primary energy demand and all of the sources. I don't want to go into the detail of this. Anybody who is interested in this can easily contact me and we can discuss this later. But I want to mention that we are already doing something to follow the EU legislation. What we also did in Port Carolina Sea, that we offered green energy and electricity for all of our clients. So we pre-provided them. And by now, like 2 or 3 years ago, what we did it, 66% of all flat owners remain with the green tariff that we offer them. This one was done with this provider. In different projects, we use different providers. We also support electromobility. That means that in most of our all new projects, we have this fast chargers, and also in the basement we have the EV charger that you can buy as a new owner with the flat. And just fast as I can, with the Skanska climate goal, we are in line with the climate goal of EU and the whole protocol. That means that by 2045, we want to reach net zero. We've started in 2015 with the scope 1 and 2, and by that, within our own emissions, we've already reduced it to the 40%, and the 2030, we want to be 70% down. This is how we are dropping the values. So it's really nicely going, but that's scope 1 and 2. That means that these are the direct emissions that we emit. It's not the scope 3, but that's the CO2 of how to accomplish it. So basically, it's, as I'm saying, circularity, low carbon materials such as low carbon concrete, renewable sources, vehicles that are powered by electricity, and so on. And in the scope 3, it's basically all about the concept of design. As early as you can build or design a building that is going to save the carbon emissions, the better, because in the construction process, it is hard to accomplish that when everything is already designed. So this is how it should go on, the carbon model. So the early stage of design is basically what matters, and a small detail in the end that we already planning to build the first wooden structure that is going to be 6 stories high, and that already saves around 60 to 70% of CO2 emissions in embodied carbon. That means that the wooden structure is the future of life cycle assessment. This is basically life cycle assessment that is only touched by all this subject of electricity, that describes the whole process of the whole life cycle of the building. That means that when you're starting with materials and the district heat use, that means the 50 years of the use of the building that needs the energy is the biggest one. So if you want to lower, what's the main message is that if you want to lower the emissions of a building throughout this whole life cycle, basically the energy that is powered, it has the biggest CO2 footprint. Not that much the materials, but mostly the energy that is powered into the building. This is only some of the CO2 solutions that we use. As I described, the low emission concrete, the renewable sources. This is recuperation of air, wooden structure, also gray water system. And that is the final slide of my presentation. Hopefully you got the message, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Miroslav Kobera from Skanska Reality, who has been speaking about impact of Green Deal on construction industry. One more question from me again. I would like to ask, because some people, including developers, are afraid that because of new technologies in construction, the prices of housing will go up. So what do you think about that? Do you see pressures, cost pressures from in your industry because of that fact?
Is this the price of materials or price of the houses?
Yeah.
Of materials.
Price of materials as such, and then because of real estate as the general.
Yes.
In general.
As of my job description, that is sustainability, I think that the price of materials is a good insight of recycling the materials. So when the primary materials are expensive, that means that you have to reuse the materials that are already in circularity, and they're not going to the landfill. So in my view, that is a good feature for the developers, like my colleagues who develop the project. It is can be a significant obstacle, but obstacles bring you to development of new ideas and new resources of materials such as recycling. As we have this recycled concrete, then you have recycled plastics, and you can also recycle plasterboard and so on. So I see it as a potential in new development, because there's a lot of material in the cycle, but we need to just think of it how to use it more and so on. So I see it as a big with a big potential.
Great. So higher prices are kind of incentive to innovate.
Yes, basically. And with the high prices of the flats, it's hard for me to describe. I'm not a real estate agent, but it's good for a developer when their houses are selling and when the flats are selling. So with the today's what's going on in this world and all the stuff that is going on, we are glad that our business is growing.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your insights into construction and Green Deal influence on it. And now we move on how to go green in compressed air. And our speaker will be now Filip Strobach from a company, Kaeser Kompressoren, which is one of the world's foremost suppliers of compressed air systems. So thank you are with us, Mr. Strobach, and now the floor is yours.
So thank you very much, and hello again, everybody. My name is Filip Strobach, and I'm sales manager of Kaeser Kompressoren Czech Republic. Please just let me say a few words about Kaeser company. Kaeser Kompressoren is a traditional family-owned company which is based in Germany with 100 years history that produce premium and efficient and reliable products and design highly efficient compressed air systems. On my first slide, you can see our headquarters and production facilities in Coburg City, which is the North Bavaria, approximately 100 kilometers far from Nuremberg. Generally, it is not easy to go green in with compressed air very fast, but using the basic principles mentioned in my presentation helps to save money and reduce CO2 emissions to everybody. The technology is more than hundreds of years known. And speaking about screw compressor, the technology was patented at around 1880. So then in 20th century, from at around 30s in 20th century, it was slowly developed. Unfortunately, there are no hybrid compressors on the market like in the car industry, but we are using high efficient electric motors. This is the standard for stationary compressors. This is also forced by governments to use the electric motors with minimum IE3 class for all stationary compressors on the market. Now there are also the portable compressors that they are using for example, for construction on the streets that are able to work with electrical engine instead of diesel-driven engine, as was in the past. And the usage is mainly used, or the use of that compressors is mainly in the cities where there are good power infrastructure, and you can switch from the diesel to electrical power and reduce CO2 emissions in the city. So basically, there is no revolution in our market, but there is a continuous evolution. So therefore, to go green in compressed air means that we have to work smart. So let's start. How to determine the compressed air needs. Let's take an existing production as a sample because it's a little bit easier. First of all, it's important to specify the airflow and minimum working pressure and air quality. And knowing these inputs helps you to choose the right compressor technology and design the compressor room setup. This is the common job for you as a customer, and this is the job for compressed air experts. The air pressure and air quality usually defines the production technology suppliers. But how to determine the airflow needed for your plant? I suggest to perform the compressed air audit. Sure, you can try to calculate all production scenarios by hands. And however, the human brain is very useful and powerful tool. It cannot compare all. The right audit of the compressed air will give you the deep insight into your air production that specify or shows you the minimum, average, and maximum air flow needed. It also shows you the fluctuation of the air during the shifts. Then the good audit also describe the pressure drop between the compressor room and the point of use, and also shows the air leakages of the system. After the measurement, the log data has to be evaluated and can be used for simulation, for a new compressor room scenario, or for exchange of the single compressor or more compressors in your system. And there is no right solution, no one right solution. There are many solutions. You can really work out tens or hundreds of the solutions, and it's good game to compare what is better or what is more efficient concerning the energy and, for example, what is good for the safety of the production and so on. So the calculation program that many producers are using can compare many solutions and can you decide whether to use the most effective system or the system with fast payback. For comparison of the efficiency of the system, use specific power according to ISO 1217 standard. We can simplify it that this value is the efficiency of compressor or efficiency of the compressed air system. And it allows you to compare the different size compressors from different producers and different models. The formula is mentioned in the slide below the text, and it's quite easy. You have to divide the total power consumption of compressor or system by the effective flow rate of compressor or system in the same pressure. Finally, the figure you will get that specify the efficiency. Normal pressures at around 6-7 bars. The efficiency is somewhere around 5, or is somewhere from 5.5 to, I don't know, tens or whatever. The important is that the lower the specific power is, the more efficient the compressor or system is. Let me say also a few words about variable speed compressors. In Kaeser, we call it sigma frequency controlled compressors. There is a strong marketing that variable speed driven compressors solve all your needs and save minimum 20, 30 or up to 50% of your energy cost. It is a very nice marketing argument, but variable speed compressors must be designed and used very carefully, because variable speed compressors is not always a solution for decreasing of your energy bill. We have seen many systems where using variable speed compressors brought customer higher investment cost, higher service cost, and also higher electricity cost comparing proper size base load or load unload compressor. And for larger system, for larger air system, you need definitely master controller. Implementing the clever master controller to manage your compressed air system brings you more benefit than just energy saving. It also optimizes the service intervals, allows you to monitor and control system remotely. It can store the data, including the alarms and failures, and gives you the opportunity to export the data for your energy management system according of ISO 50001 to the files. You can work with them later on. So, like for example, Excel files and the others. Another valuable feature of the screw compressor or rotary compressors generally is the heat recovery. It is a free energy that you can gather from your compressed air system. You can recover, based on the type of the compressor, up to 96% of electric power for air or water heating, sanitary water heating or preheating, or process water preheating. Nowadays, when power and gas are extremely expensive, the heat recovery having very fast payback. You receive significantly more of inquiries for compressors equipped with the heat recovery systems, and also many companies that in the past refused our offer for heat recovery system now coming back with the request for a retrofitting of existing compressors and existing system by these exchangers. We look or move from compressor to the pipeline system, we can also find a lot of possible savings. Reducing the required system pressure and pressure drop of the air treatment equipment always reduce the power consumption. The rule of thumb says that approximately 1 bar lower the operating pressure of the system is means approximately 6% of the energy saving. I also recommend to use the high quality and rust-free pipeline, and maintaining the connection hoses, quick couplers, and the other components of your system properly to reduce the air leaks and save your energy and service bill. The air leaks never sleeps, so when the air leakage is caused by technology itself, we strongly recommend to install the shut-off valves upstream the production lines and close the valves when production stops. It can be done manually or automatically. There are many options on the market. Also, using the efficient compressed air dryers, the filters, and another equipment or components would save a lot of kilowatt hours and service cost too. I recommend to choose the dryers with low dependent control system that reduce the energy consumption when the system works in partial load. Also, the beneficiary is used heat generated absorption dryers instead of heatless absorption dryers for higher flow of the compressed air, basically over the 1,000 cubic meters per hour. But you can also find the equipment that with smaller capacity. So if you would like to really go more efficiently, you can also find the heat regenerated dryers for a lower capacity than 1,000 cubic meters per hour. But sure, the equipment is more expensive. On the other hand, saving the energy. And some of the refrigeration dryers called refrigeration dryers for drying the air for approximately to the class 4, which means +3 degrees Celsius. use the refrigeration gases for their operation. We produce and deliver, and I recommend to use only the dryers with newest refrigeration gases that has low impact to global warming potential. So to sum up and simplify the above slides, I strongly suggest to make the research, because comparing the specific power allow you to choose the efficient compressor. Then to measure, because measurement allow you to design efficient system and find potentials of the savings. If you have more than 2 compressors, it's good to use the master controller, because master controller increasing the efficiency of the compressor system and not only. Heat recovery. Heat recovery, as was mentioned, brings you a huge amount of the free energy. Care about the pipeline, because pipeline, or by reducing the required system pressure and pressure drop and air leaks, we are saving unnecessary usage of the air and the power. And finally, with the right treatment, you will save energy and environment. So, to the real end, all above basic steps for compressed air system design brings you the complete potential of energy and money saving, heat and gas saving, and CO2 reduction. And this is our contribution to the green policy. As I was mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, go green means go smart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Storbach, for your insights. I have one question as well, because nowadays many people really are thinking about how to fix their energies because of growing prices of gas and electricity. Would you recommend what, in your eyes, what's the best way how to get energies right now for, let's say, a small family house with 4 people? Is it a heat pump or gas boiler, or what would you recommend to an ordinary Czech family? How, in the regard what will come in the next years and what the prices of energies will be? What should be the main sources of energies for heating, especially? Thank you.
So it is a little bit out of our main let's say business, but from my previous experience in the market, or with, for example, cooling systems and the heat pumps, I trust the use the heat pumps in using of the heat pumps. Sure, it is quite costly solutions, but on the other hand, the government used or support the using or exchanging of the fossil boilers, exchange of the fossil boilers for heat pumps, for example. So this is one way, and this is the way that is quite let's say nice for me, because it is how gas are running out of the gas, first of all. Second, you can let's say save the energy, because depends on the machine you consume 1 kV, and you would get 3 or more kVs for heating. And sure, for example, in summer times, at some systems you can use the free cooling if you, for example, use the drills for the primer source of the for the heat pump. So my favorite is using the heat pump. Even I know that this is not for everybody because the investment cost is quite high.
Great recommendation. Thank you for it, and thank you for your presentation as well, of course. And now, last but not least, we will cover or we'll touch upon the topic of photovoltaic plants and electricity storage system. And the speaker will be Jakub Vančura from CJ company. So let us please or introduce yourself first and tell us about something about your company, and then the floor is yours, Jakub. Thank you.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Jakub Vančura. I'm responsible for renewables at PRE Group, and as well I'm managing director of a company Solar Invest, which is part of PRE Group, and who is responsible for installations of renewables for our customers. So I'll try to share my screen and start with the presentation. So hopefully you can see the initial slide.
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. So some basic information. We focus on photovoltaics and storage, but we are involved as well in heat pumps, cooling, and e-mobility, as they come quite nicely together. We cover design, development, installation, maintenance, and advisory, which can include subsidy advisory as well. Within the PRE Group, which was partly described by Mr. Stehlík, as I mentioned, Solar Invest, let's say the daughter company, focuses on photovoltaic design and installation for both residential and industrial customers. And our mother companies, they focus on maintenance and operation of our renewables. We operate almost 30 megawatt of renewable power, mostly photovoltaics. And we prepare as well new large-scale photovoltaic projects. One of the strategic goals of our company is to have 10 times the power of renewables by 2030 to help with the carbon emission lower the emissions as well. Well, let's start right ahead with the core information that you need to know about photovoltaics in Czech Republic in 2022. There are 3 subsidies programs available at the moment. First one is MOD Fond, Modernizační Fond, which is suitable for large photovoltaic projects, the field installations. The subsidy starts at 35% of investment, can be lower within for bigger projects, because the bigger projects are compared to each other and only the more efficient are subsidized. The second program is Národní plán obnovy, NPO, that is suitable for rooftop installations for industrial customers. It is also 35% of subsidy, and the initial call will be closing in August. So most projects that will get the subsidy must be already under preparation to be able to ask for this one. We hope that another round or another call will be signed by the ministry in upcoming months. The third one is for residential installations for households. It's called Nová zelená úsporám, and the subsidy is up to 50%, and it's available, and it will be for next years. Considering the market situation, the rising energy prices led to very low return of investment for the businesses. With subsidies, we are facing as low as 5-year return of investment of photovoltaic power plants, which have never been in history that economical to install photovoltaic. Unfortunately, the high demand leads to lack of material, lack of installation capacity. So the time needed to produce and install photovoltaics is higher than it was before. Some basic facts about the framework. You do not need a license to produce electricity up to 10 kilowatt peaks. That means most of the residential house installations, the households, do not have to have the license. You don't need building permit up to 20 kilowatt of power. And there is simple grid connection up to 100 kilowatt peak. There are a few mandatory requirements. You need to verify your roof static load capacity. You need a fire safety solution documentation. You need grid connection permit, of course. And in some cases, like in historic areas, which is half of Prague, for example, you need consent of conservationists because unfortunately, photovoltaics is still something new, and they are not familiar, and they do not like photovoltaics on historical buildings. Not sure if it will change in future. I've marked 10 and 20 kilowatt peaks because these limits are being discussed at the moment, and they should be risen in upcoming months or years. We do not know how long it will take, but it should be higher. So in the future, you should be able to run photovoltaics up to 50 kilowatt peak without license and build up to 40 or 50 without the building permit. When all these things come together, the photovoltaics can be installed. I will show you some recent installations for, I would say, typical industrial customers. This is gastro industry. They need a lot of cooling. So photovoltaic, which provides energy during summer, is one of the best solutions they can have. This is installation for bakery, 115, which we've done 2 years ago. Very common customer or very common industry for photovoltaics are shopping malls. They usually have large areas on roofs which can be used. This photo is during construction. You can see partly done and part being prepared for panel installation. And logistics, buildings, logistic areas. They have large roofs as well, and they are mostly usable for photovoltaics. What you need to get done before having a photovoltaics? I try to describe a few step-by-step points. Usually, the first step is a feasibility study for investment decision. You will get information about the ideal size of the photovoltaics, which depends not only on the area that you have on your roof available, but your consumption should be taken into consideration as well. Because if you have too much production, then the efficiency is lower because the energy goes into the grid. You get some payments if you sell the electricity, but it's not that effective as if you use it on your own. So feasibility study will give you the information for your decision, whether the photovoltaics and what size is best for you. Then some project preparation is needed. You have to verify the load, static load capacity of the roof. You need to ask for a grid connection, whether the photovoltaics will be connected to the grid. So far, there are no restrictions on that, but they can occur in future. It's been a problem in few areas in the past as well. And before the start of the project, if you want, you can apply for a subsidy. Then there's building permit for most of the large projects, as I mentioned. The documentation must be prepared and negotiated with authorities. And this step is quite location and size of the project dependent. Some authorities in smaller cities can be very flexible and react fast. In Prague, where a lot of companies are applying for building permit, you usually have to wait longer. I would say from our experience, the minimum is 5 months. You need 2 months for the documentation to be prepared and at least 3 months to negotiate with authorities to get all their information that you need. Then the installation is usually one of the shortest part of getting photovoltaics. It's not possible during winter, of course, but usually it takes from 2 to 4 months to install a photovoltaic as size which I showed in the pictures, for example. And then when everything is technically finished, there is a commissioning part. You need to get a grid connection approval, and you need a license for the electricity production. When all these things are done, you can officially run your photovoltaics and save electricity from the grid. When all these things come together, such an example of modern building with photovoltaics can be the result. This is one of our recent projects that we've done on a high school reconstruction building. The photovoltaics is on the rooftop as well, which is not seen from the picture, and on the side walls as well. It looks really nice. The efficiency of the side installation is slightly lower, but the overall production is of course bigger than only on the rooftop, where there wasn't enough room for the photovoltaics. Along with this photovoltaics, we installed as well the storage, which is in the container. You can see it on the left far end of the picture. And inside the container, there is storage of 300 kilowatt hours, which can provide energy for the school during night, when the sun is not shining. and it can provide backup energy for lighting and computer systems when the grid outage will occur. Thank you for your attention. If you have any questions about the situation at photovoltaic market in Czech Republic, I'm ready for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your insights. And let me ask you as well, because many people ask what are the aspects of new technologies, and they simply do not know, and they do not know the recent trends, for example, in realization or construction of photovoltaic power plants. So what are the main trends in your eyes regarding the construction and the technological solutions concerning photovoltaic power plants?
Well, I think the main difference between photovoltaics that were built 10 years ago and nowadays is that a lower angle of photovoltaic panels is used. 10 years ago, usually you've seen photovoltaic panels up to 40, 45, 35 degrees installed on rooftops. These days, the trend is to take lower angle with the panels, which leads to first higher density of panels, because lower the angle, the shorter is the shade of the panel on the roof. So you can place more panels closer together and therefore get higher total power output from the photovoltaic plant. The second main issue with the roofs is the load capacity. We are coming across a lot of roofs that are not sustainable to additional load. And if you have lower degree of the photovoltaic panel, it provides less resistance to the wind, and therefore you can have lower load on the panel for it to be safe and resistant to some wind, hurricanes, and other nature extremes that can occur. And this is from time to time, this is a main factor as well, whether you can install the photovoltaics or not, depending on the load capacity of the roof. And lower angle helps lowering the load on the panels.
So thank you very much for your very practical explanation. So now I think we have gone through all our program for today's afternoon. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, all the participants, because we have gone through decarbonization, sustainability, Green Deal in industrial production, in construction, now in the field of compressed air, and finally we have touched upon the topic of photovoltaic plants. So I think we have covered pretty nicely key elements of so-called going green. And now I would like to thank all of our participants and all of visitors of our online streaming. So let me thank Mr. Wojciech Fried, Mr. Vladimír Stehlík, Mr. Martin Dittrich, Miroslav Kubera, Mr. Filip Strobach, and Jakub Vančura. Thank you also all the organizers and especially Nordic embassies in the Czech Republic who are or which are promoting sustainability, and they are supporting discussions about that and covering it in public discussion. And of course, we are grateful for a support of Nordic Chamber of Commerce in the Czech Republic and Czech Confederation of Industry and Trade. This was another piece from our series, Sustainable Business and Circular Economy, and we are looking forward to meet on another similar occasion. So have a nice rest of the day, then hopefully we will go greener ahead. So once again, thank you.
Thanks as well.